Welcome back to Harem and the Labyrinth anime review, episode number 2. This one's reviewing the second episode of the series, Raising Money. This begins not long after the events of the last episode. Now, this episode does pretty much have almost an entire one chapter, just chapter 4. Because if you're curious though, each volume of Harem and the Labyrinth is roughly 5 chapters. It's always the same length. Except here's the thing, it's not the same number every volume. The way it works is weird, to say the least. Where, the first book, first 5 chapters. Second book, chapters 6 to 10. Volume 3, it is 11 to 15. Volume 4 is 15 to 20. That's pretty much how it works. It is quite bizarre of how it's set up. But these books are also quite lengthy. If you're curious how long the first book is, the book I have downloaded, it is it's 318 pages. Also, each chapter is separated into parts, ranging from 10 to about 30 parts a piece. These things are quite lengthy, to say the least. So, basically, we have a bit of a flash forward, which I believe this may have been complete. This may be from later on the series. They say it's 10 years in the future where you have the main character of the series. I kind of forgot his name here. I'm looking him up on here. Because basically it's been a bit since I actually looked up the actual name. Because they have him here along with Roxanne and yeah, they pretty much have him, Roxanne, Sherry, and they pretty much have just about everybody who is pretty much Michio's slave that he buys over the course of the series. Mm-hmm. Yes, and I do mean everybody. By the way, the official translated name for the series is called Slave Labyrinth in the World. You have Sherry, who is a blacksmith. She's 16. This actually is her anime debut in this very episode. Yes, it's quite interesting the fact they basically have her appear in this very episode, being her first one, despite the fact she technically does not really appear in the books until book, I believe was book 3, if I'm not mistaken. Then we have Maria, which I have not read her debut yet, and her debut is... They didn't really say exactly. No. So the other slave, well, there's also Vista. She makes her debut here too, along with Rutia. She's here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they also have one here who actually... where they actually go back to the village. He actually was just there just the last episode. So he just sees, oh yeah, basically that oh yeah, I was here before. He goes back to the place he was just there just last episode. Now, here's the thing. This would be nice for a flash forward if this was season 2. This is only the second episode of the series. And we have a flash forward in the second episode. This, I kind of felt as though was a mistake. Though it was quite nice to see a good sneak preview of the future slaves. We might get the future women he basically buys over the course of the series. Quite nice that they did that. But the problem is, basically, you're showing some of these characters too early. But luckily they say this is 10 years in the future, so it doesn't really affect much anything at all. So he just meets up with a kid who looks very similar to him, who apparently he never met before. And it's implied he slept with it. It's implied that this kid was conceived due to a one night stand he had with his mother 10 years prior to the events of this flash forward. Gives him a sword, and apparently the sword was originally with Roxanne. Roxanne's like, no problem with it. And they go back and they show basically the sneak preview. The best thing The thing, I think the one thing you got to take away from this flash forward is that we introduced basically a special power that we see frequently used as an episode. This sort of gate, this portal stuff, which, by the way, in the books, the ones I read anyways, he does frequently use this thing. So it's like teleporting dungeon gate. So flash forward to basically go back to present day, where he basically is told by a little more about the labyrinth. He's basically told his location and how to get into place. So he needs to raise, like he mentioned that thanks to how much money he has so far, he still needs to raise 70,000 coins in order to get the price he needs to get to buy Roxanne. That's basically what he's doing. So he proceeds to go to the Labyrinth and kills 10 of these needle monsters, aka tree monsters. No, I'm not kidding about it. This is what he does. He does in the book too, so no, the anime does not make that up. He does fight freaking tree monsters. First round, he fights 10 of them, and he gets paid a very small amount, like over 200, I think it's like 276 coins. You know, to fill a small purse. And then, of course, he goes back there next day early in the morning, where he proceeds to kill a lot more of these damn things. He even accidentally goes into a den of theirs and manages to kill, like, I'd say, like, it looked like at first it killed, like, I'd say when he got there, he killed more than 10 because his pack was full. It wasn't like 10. It seemed more like 50. And then he goes to the den and he kills, like, a lot more than 50. And it seemed like he'd been there for quite a while. It seemed like, based on people who were there, the creatures, it looked like roughly about, I'd say about 100 of these creatures. And he manages to, at a point of near exhaustion, basically beat these creatures. And he walks back into town because we're like, oh, there's commotion going on. What's going on? A bandit has murdered. Now, who killed this bandit? It's suspected it was a knight or a rival bandit gang. There is a reference to what happened last episode. The bandit said, well, Michiko killed last episode. But he does delve into it more and mentions that they only know it's a bandit because they chopped out of his hand. The very hand they use to have the ID card, the intelligence cards. And he walks back into town. And they make a decision that he needs to go hunt bandits in order to basically raise the money to get Roxanne. He says he has 5 days. 5 days left in order to... Probably just comes... This is probably just... Probably at this point, probably has 4 days left in order to get Roxanne. So, the end of the episode there with him deciding to go get bandits. Okay, interesting. So, you could say in just 2 episodes, they've already done most of book 2. Except they skip over the rabbit hunt, which they didn't do this one here. No rabbit hunt this time. Nope. Excuse me. It's definitely a good episode. It's nothing really like, oh, let's have the main... Oh, by the way, they show the main character where he goes to the various portal, where the portal he was using in the dungeon, he can't go any place outside the dungeon itself. He can't go back to the hall, he can't go back outside. He uses a different gate in order for that to happen. So... And the labyrinth, as they say, is not well lit, and yet they have lights across the floor of this damn place, and there's like roots growing through the walls. Now, as for who built the labyrinth, now they say this world has got many labyrinths. Like, that sounds very familiar. A world where it's got many labyrinths sounds like a Freya, except they've got 11 labyrinths, which by book 11 they pretty much conquered almost all of them. Yes. But they say this one was just discovered just a few days prior to him showing up, and he goes in and he doesn't counter anybody in the thing. Nope, he just counters needle monsters. Yep, and he does use the ability to teleport. That's how he gets there pretty quickly without anybody noticing. So basically, he has 2 different gates. One is dungeon gate. The other is teleportation gate. It forms like a giant rectangular door, a black door that just opens up like one of those doors you see in Star Trek. Those sliding doors, those quickly sliding doors, and he just walks through them. But since they won't take him outside with Dungeon Gate, he basically bobs against the wall a couple times. And apparently, when he loses MP, apparently the way he recovers MP is by being depressed. Yep, that's seriously what he does. Gets depressed. And this happens a lot in the episode when he's in the labyrinth. He's like, I don't want to be here, but he remembers, oh yeah, I gotta buy Roxanne. Yeah, it's like this throughout most of the episode. The episode itself feels like it goes by pretty quickly. Like, it felt as though we spent a little bit too much time on the flash forward, and then the present day stuff, it just feels like it goes by way too quickly. That's what it feels like. It feels a bit rush pacing, though it's passionate. Though, I do like the fact that we got a chance to see a Labyrinth. Now, as for series that actually have labyrinths in it, not many of them per se, basically, I've seen that have this concept for fantasy series. There is obviously Is a Rancher Girls Sunshine. It's the most obvious, which, by the way, that season 4 started later this month. There's that one. There's a Freya. And these ones I've watched. There's this one, obviously. I'm trying to think. It was in your series that had labyrinths in it. Oh yes, the hidden dungeon only I can enter. That's kind of like a labyrinth because it got multiple levels. So, yeah, there's that. Oh, that just thunder. Sorry about that. And my niece is probably getting worried about it. Yes, my 2-year-old niece is here. She's over in another room. It's just a pretty good episode. Yeah. I can't think of any other ones I could think of where I've watched anime that have labyrinths per se. Well, what comes close to was maybe either or a smartphone. They had like one in like one episode. But it wasn't like a driving force per se. Yep. But yeah, that's going to be pretty much it for Stick Love You. Next one's going to be more Kamen Rider. Okay, next video. Bye.